This is the story of an extremely stingy man whose only goal in life is to save money no matter what it costs emotionally or socially. This man is obsessed with saving money to such an extreme level that he collects coupons from supermarkets, eats food even after it has expired, and refuses to waste even the smallest thing. He saves electricity by keeping all the lights in his house turned off and survives only on whatever little light comes in from outside. He uses everything so thoroughly that nothing is left usable at the end. He is that kind of miser. Our main character's name is Francois Gautier. We are shown that his obsession with saving money started even before he was born. When Francois was still in his mother's womb, his mother was constantly yelling at his husband because he had spent too much money celebrating a trip to France. She kept scolding him, saying that they had a child on the way, and asking how they would manage expenses if he kept spending like this. From that point onward, Francois's mother kept telling him never to become like his father, never to spend unnecessarily, and always to save money. These words became deeply ingrained in Francois's mind, so much so that from childhood itself, he became obsessed with saving every single penny. As a child, he was so miserly that if a toothpick fell on the ground, he would still pick it up and reuse it. He squeezed maximum use out of every object until it was completely destroyed. As he grew older, his stinginess only became worse. In his younger days, he even got a woman pregnant, but because he was so obsessed with saving money, he never married her. He believed that marriage meant unnecessary expenses, so he chose to stay alone. Francois works as a violinist in an orchestra and also gives violin lessons to a child at home to earn extra money. However, these days he isn't paying much attention to the child because the parents haven't paid his fees on time. Francois is so stingy that he never takes a bus to go home. He always walks to save money. One day, his neighbor gives him a lift in his car. Francois notices that the neighbor has bought a lot of groceries and comments that it looks like enough food for an entire month. The neighbor tells him that it's actually only for a few days because he has 6 children. When the car reaches their housing society, we see that outside the building, someone has written the word bastard next to Francois's name. This clearly shows how disliked he is by everyone in the society. Francois ignores all of this, goes home, eats a very small amount of food, and quietly leaves again for work on foot. At work, he practices the violin, and that's when a new girl joins the orchestra. Her name is Valérie. She asks Francois if he can help her practice, and they start rehearsing together. After work, she asks him if he would like to go out for dinner sometime. Francois becomes extremely happy and excited and goes to tell his banker friend about it. The banker encourages him and says that he should take her to a nice restaurant, explaining that he has plenty of money in his account. He even tells Francois that he has around $2.5 million saved. Francois reacts by saying that this amount is still too little and that he needs to save even more. He wants to take Valérie out for dinner, but he doesn't want to spend any money. So he goes to the parents of the child he teaches violin to. Since they own a restaurant, he makes a deal with them that when he brings his friend there for dinner, they will serve only 3 dishes, and in return, he will give them more time to pay their child's fees. The parents agree. That night, Francois has a live performance with his orchestra. Even for this event, he refuses to spend money on clothes. He borrows clothes and shoes from another musician. When he wears the shoes, he realizes they are 2 sizes smaller, but he still forces himself to wear them and somehow manages to perform on stage while playing the violin. After the show ends, a woman named Laura approaches him for an autograph. Francois gives her the autograph, but secretly keeps her pen instead of returning it. Meanwhile, Valérie comes out, and Francois asks her out on a date for Tuesday. She agrees. Francois then heads home, but Laura follows him all the way to his building. She tells him that she is actually his daughter. Francois assumes she is lying and trying to scam him for money. A crowd gathers as they argue, and to avoid further attention, Francois lets Laura inside his house. Inside, Laura tells him her mother's name, and Francois immediately remembers everything. Laura is the daughter of the woman he got pregnant years ago and then abandoned to save money. Still, he doubts whether Laura is truly his daughter. He calls her mother, but the call gets cut off because Francois runs out of phone balance. Later, Laura tells him that she has always considered him a hero because she believed he was saving money to help poor orphaned children in Mexico. Francois goes to his neighbor's house to use the phone and calls Laura's mother again. She explains that she never told Laura the truth about her father because Francois had abandoned her just to avoid spending money, even refusing to give birthday gifts. When Francois returns home, he immediately starts turning off all the lights as usual. He tells Laura that he cannot keep her with him, but when Laura asks if she can stay in his house, Francois demands $140 per week as rent. Laura agrees, believing that her father saves money for charity. The next day, Francois sticks notes all over the house listing strict rules for Laura: limited water usage, no unnecessary electricity, and strict control over food. Francois later tells his banker about Laura and says that he believes she has come to claim his money. The banker suggests that she may have simply come to see her father. Then Francois tells Laura that he is going out on a date with Valerie. Laura takes him to stand in front of his wardrobe, but when he opens it, there is only one old t-shirt inside. Francois then actually goes out with Valerie. Francois takes Valerie to the restaurant where he had already planned to get a free dinner. However, Valerie says that she's allergic to all the dishes available there and insists that they go to a different restaurant instead. Reluctantly, Francois agrees and follows her to another place. As soon as he looks at the menu, he realizes that every dish is extremely expensive. Trapped with no way out, he's forced to order food. When the bill finally arrives, Francois completely panics. The fear of spending that much money overwhelms him. He quietly excuses himself and goes to the restroom, where he deliberately triggers the fire alarm. Chaos immediately breaks out as everyone rushes outside. Using the confusion as an opportunity, Francois slips away and escapes without paying the bill once again. Afterward, Valerie calls a taxi for herself. Francois tells her that he needs to go in the opposite direction, pretending that he has other work. As soon as she leaves, he starts walking back home on foot, satisfied that he managed to save money, even though he once again embarrassed himself on a date. The next day, the child he teaches violin finally pays his fees and also gifts Francois a book as a thank you present. Later at the office, one musician is retiring. Everyone pools money to buy a gift, except Francois. When questioned, he claims he wants to give a personal gift and hands over the book he received earlier. When the retired musician opens the book, he finds a thank you note addressed to the child's parents, exposing Francois's lie. Everyone realizes how he constantly fools people to save money, and Francois leaves humiliated. That night, the housing society members come to his house and demand 3,000 euros for maintenance. Francois panics and calls his banker for help. Before anything happens, Laura tells the society members that Francois donates money to poor children in Mexico. Feeling ashamed, they leave without taking the money. The neighbors' opinion of Francois changes completely. The insulting word written outside the society is removed and replaced with "bravo." The next day, there is another live orchestra performance. Just before the show, Francois calls Laura and hears a lot of noise at home. Laura explains that a neighbor couldn't repay a loan, so all the neighbors and their children are staying at Francois's house. Francois panics, but his phone call cuts off. He wants to go home, but if he leaves the show, he will have to pay a penalty. So he plays the violin at double speed, and the rest of the orchestra follows him. The show ends in chaos, but surprisingly, the host praises Francois, calling him an innovator with a bright future. Valerie drives Francois home, where he sees that all the lights and electrical devices are switched on. Thinking about the electricity bill, he faints. When he wakes up, Valerie is taking care of him. She now knows about the orphan story and has told the entire orchestra. She also tells him that he has been invited to perform at a charity event and wants Laura to come along as well. At the charity event, Valerie brings Francois on stage and asks him to say something that will encourage people to donate. Francois says that he is not a hero and that many people want to help others but are unable to do so. He says that anyone can change. He takes out his checkbook and starts writing a check for $30. The audience is disappointed and demands $3,000 instead. Under pressure, Francois writes a check for $3,000 but immediately goes to the restroom and tears it up. Laura later finds a piece of the torn check. After the event, Valerie and Francois share their first kiss. Francois is happy, but Laura is deeply disappointed because she realizes that her father never actually donates money to help children. Back home, Laura tells Francois that she will need to go to work to pay rent. Francois finds a childhood drawing in her room that she had carefully kept all these years. The drawing shows that Laura always considered Francois her hero. Overwhelmed with emotions, he was leaving the room, but suddenly a message comes on Laura's phone because she forgot her phone in a hurry. He opens the message where he found that Laura's mother was asking Laura, did she make Francois agree for donation? Reading this, Francois was furious. He thought he already knows they are behind his money. Then, Francois goes to the hospital, furious. He started yelling that you sent that girl to loot my money. I will not give you single penny. But then Laura's mother shouts at Francois that they were never after his money and explains that Laura has been surviving on one kidney for the past year and now needs a kidney transplant. Her blood group is rare, which is why no donor has been found. Hearing this, Francois leaves without saying a word. 2 days later, he returns to the hospital and tries to talk to Laura, but she refuses to speak to him. Francois breaks down and admits that he doesn't know why he is the way he is, that he has never been able to change his habits, and that this is why he has always been alone. He becomes emotional and starts crying. At that moment, Laura's mother arrives and reveals that Francois had already given his sample for a kidney transplant 2 days earlier. Laura's heart melts and she runs after Francois, calling him Papa. They hug each other with tears in their eyes. Later, we see that Laura's kidney transplant is successful. In the end, Francois and Valerie are happily together, performing with the orchestra. Francois truly starts helping orphan children in Mexico and encourages others to donate as well. However, his habit of saving money never completely disappears. He still tries to save every single penny whenever possible. And with that, the movie ends. See you in the next video, and don't forget to share this movie with your miserly friends.